I got the word. I got the word that Caleb Plant is in the building.
Yes, sir.
And he is ready to go ahead and join us. First of all, absolutely phenomenal staircase.
Yeah,
I love
right.
That.
Look at this. Look at the can't have money.
I like
can't have money.
I literally, my eyes went straight to the staircase.
Right.
Hi, Caleb. How are you?
I'm good. How's it going?
It's going well. Brandon, how are you feeling?
This is awesome. Caleb, big fan of yours, not just, you as a fighter, and there's so many great fighters, but just how you approach things. I know obviously, and we'll hit it, there was a moment not too long ago that we'll talk about, but, you're a man's man, bro. I love your style. I love how you approach your family. I love everything that you've overcome, whether in the ring, the adversity that you face, outside of the ring, like you're one of those, you're a pro's pro, and so I just want to say thank you for joining the show. We're excited to jump in this conversation. It's long overdue. We were trying to work it out to where we get you on the big pod where we sit around and have a drink or two, but we're here with Ashley Nicole Moss on Paper Route. And so let's dive in, man. Well, first, before we do that, where are you living? This seemed like some LA stuff.
Well, first off, I appreciate the kind words. It means a lot. And, thank you for having me on. But, yeah, I'm in Las Vegas. I've been here since, 2016. And, hard work pays off. So,
you know what, though? A lot of people are, leaving LA and moving to Vegas. The real estate market is booming in Vegas. It's,
huge.
One of the most up-and-coming real estate markets in the country. So, he's ahead of the curve.
There you go. I think no state taxes either.
Yeah, no state tax. Nice.
So, bro, state of boxing. Before I know, Ashley, you want to lead?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
You're the fight fanatic here.
Okay.
You go ahead.
State of boxing, bro. Where's the state of boxing right now?
Man, right now I feel like it's in a great spot. 2023, I think it's been, one of the best years in a long time. And, you've seen a lot of big fights happen, a lot of champions facing champions, and it's in a good spot. But boxing's always been in a good spot. But I think what some people fail to realize is, one generation will move out and retire, and then the next one will move in, and they have to build those fighters. They have to build, their careers. They have to become champions. And if they fight too early in their career, things may not pan out. So boxing and the fans have to give boxing a chance to build and develop those fighters so that down the road, you can have a year like we're having now where you're seeing a lot of great fighters facing a lot of other great fighters.
Right. 24 fights, 22 wins, 13 by KO, and 2 losses. I want to lean into the losses because I think that, this is where we're at in boxing, where people are starting to understand, that the protecting your may not be good business. Like you said, you have champions fighting champions, the best fighting the best. When you took those 2 losses, how did you recover from that, right? Because I feel like as boxers, Ashley, this dude is a legend. For real. And so when you lose, just like Earl Spence just lost, it's like, damn, the world's watching. They're like, oh, he's done. He's washed, right? So, how did you respond to those 2 losses? Did you face any adversity, after those fights?
Yeah, I think anytime you take a loss, that's adversity, right? Because the goal was to go out and win. You're preparing to win. You put the preparation in to win. You sacrifice and dedicate to win. So when you don't and things don't go your way, that's adversity. But I think, in today's age with social media, you're able to see a lot of people's opinions. But you just got to make sure that those opinions, other people's opinion of yourself don't mean more than the opinion you have of yourself. And,
right.
Nobody's opinion of me could be more important than the one I have of myself. So just knowing who I am, I got a good team around me, my wife, my coaches, my friends, and just getting right back in the gym and getting right back to work. I lost to Canelo, and I had to take just a little bit of time off to heal a little injury that I had gotten training. And I came back. I fought former two-time world champion Anthony Durrell. I told him I didn't want a tune-up fight. I wanted to go right into the biggest fight that I possibly could, coming off of a loss, and maybe that's not the biggest fight out there, but give me the biggest fight that we can get. And, they came back with Anthony Durrell. I said, let's do it. And, everybody, they seen how that went, and stepped right to David Benavidez. Obviously, losing there, just getting right back in the gym and, trying to smooth some edges in my game, get better at some things, and looking like I'll be back in the ring by the end of the year.
Well, you mentioned Canelo. You also mentioned David as well. I mean, you went toe-to-toe with both of them, came up short, unfortunately, in both times. I mean, one, who was the tougher fighter, and why do you think you came up short in both of those fights? What do you think went wrong?
Well, with the Canelo fight, at that point, I think one thing was his activity level, fighting every probably like 4 months or so leading up to the fight that we had. And I had been out for 11 months. And obviously not using that excuse, but, activity level definitely plays its part. And, getting in the ring and being able to do your thing at the highest level. And so I think activity level, I think Canelo's experience level, at the time he having like 20 fights. And, it's never just one thing. It's, an accumulation of smaller things. But I think the experience level and just then activity level, probably the two biggest. And with David, he's a big guy. He's really like a 175-pounder who is killing himself to make, 168 pounds. So that was a close fight too. So just, continuing to smooth a couple of the edges in my game and, trying to round things out. And as far as who's the tougher fighter, I think, it's like apples and oranges, like styles make fights. Canelo's got the experience. I think he punches harder than David, but David's bigger. He puts more combinations together. So, I mean, they both have their flaws. They both got, things that they're really good at.
So, bro, what did you see what opportunity did you see in the Canelo fight, right? I go and put myself back into the football world in the film room watching Darrell Revis. And I'm like, damn, like every time he has this foot up, this is what he does. He does this fake little jab, but then he gets back into his bail coverage. Or, man, I ran this over route and, Chad Ochocinco ran this over route and he overplayed it. So now that's a counter or a combination where, now I'm going to my offensive coordinator or my quarterback saying, look, he's going to pick that ball off, but if we run that over route and I stop and bring it back out, there's nothing out there, right? Now, obviously, it doesn't always go as planned, but you see the opportunities against your opponent. Canelo Alvarez, obviously one of the best fighters in today's game, but probably going down as one of the greatest ever. When you stepped into that fight, right, what opportunity did you see? Like, where was the weakness?
I think Canelo's style has changed over the years. And so the way that he fights now isn't the way that he's always fought. But I don't really want to get too into that because,
What, you gonna see him again?
I'm pretty close to having a rematch.
Ooh.
And, it's never good to correct your enemy's mistakes.
I know, that's right.
So I'm gonna let him
Listen.
keep doing his thing, and, I'm sure we'll meet up here soon.
Ooh, soon.
I like it. That's spicy.
You hear him?
I like it. It's spicy. And listen, earlier in this conversation, we brought up social media and how that's changed boxing.
Yep.
And speaking of spice, we have to talk about, we would be remiss to not mention it. You've been in the headlines the last couple of weeks for what transpired backstage at the Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford fight. Brandon was there, not there when it happened, but there in the premises. And you have garnered a lot of respect from people who may or may not have been a fan, may not have been familiar, for not just how you handled yourself, but what transpired when you went ahead and gave the backstory on how it ended up, being the video that we saw. So, I mean, just the biggest question, why did Jermall Charlo, touch your beard not once, but twice? Let's get into that.
I mean, I can't make sense of it. That's something you'd have to ask him, really. But it's like, we were at the weigh-ins and we were behind the stage with all the teams, the fighters who were about to weigh in, the coaches and, their team, stuff like that. Just me and my wife, Jordan, she works in boxing too. So we're behind there just catching up with people, saying what's up. And, Charlo, he comes up to me and he's like, man, what's up, bro? Why don't you fuck with me? Why don't you fuck with me? I'm like, I didn't really understand what he was saying. And he was like, yeah, why don't you fuck with me? I'm like, man, sometimes you're hot, sometimes you're cold. Like, I really don't know how to take you. One time you'll literally come up and be like, bro, I love you. And the next time I see you, you'll be on an interview talking about how you'll beat the shit out of me and send me back to Tennessee. And it's like, hot and cold. I just stay clear of people like that. And he's like, no, man, I fuck with you. And I'm like, all right. He's like, do you want to fight? I was like, yeah, of course I want to fight. That's going to be a big fight. We need to make it happen. He's like, because I don't even want to fight. I'm like, all right, that's cool. I know you got things going on. Like, handle your personal life and get that together. We can make a fight happen. And he's going from like a hot sentence to a cold sentence, hot sentence to a cold sentence. And then he's like, a couple sentences later, he's like, do you want to fight? I'm like, yeah, I want to fight. He's like, because I'll fight you. I'm like, you're not making sense. Just a second ago you said you don't. He said, it won't even be a good fight, though. I'm like, why not? He's like, because I'll beat the shit out of you. I'm like, see what I'm saying, bro? This is what I'm saying. 1 second you're hot, 1 second you're cold. I don't get it. And then he reached over and he pulled the chin on my hair, my hair on my chin, kind of hard. Like, boom. I'm like, bro, what the fuck is your problem? Don't ever touch me. Don't ever touch me in my face again. Like, what are you doing? And then, he wants to start calling me a bitch-ass white boy. Oh, look at the bitch-ass white boy. Acting just like a bitch. Look at him, y'all getting scared, getting shook, just like a white boy would, blah, 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 blah. And then he pulls the chin on my hair again, but even harder. So, I mean, I'm standing in a room full of my peers, like I said. I got my wife standing behind me. Well, what do? You're really making it hard on somebody when you're really putting their back up against the wall when you keep pressing them like that. And you're looking for a fight. If you grab the hair on somebody's chin, you're looking to fight them. And if somebody has the decency to tell you not to do it again and you do it again, you're looking to fight. So that's what happened.
So this is a tough sit down with me because I am very close with the Charlo brothers, but I definitely understand they spicy. You know what I'm saying?
And you can be cool and you can keep being cool, but we ain't talking right now. We're talking about right and wrong.
Right, right.
And what ain't right is to be touching another man in his face, pulling on his shit. And if he tells you to quit, then that's exactly what that means.
100%. Listen, I agree with you there. But have you guys spoken? Have you guys worked this out? No, any apology, anything?
Like apology from who? Like him?
Yeah, like you know what I'm saying? Because
we haven't talked. I have no reason to conversate with him or talk with him. Like he did what he did. I done what I done.
Now I talked to somebody. I was there, and I talked to someone close to, this situation. I'm like, "What's going on?" And they're like, "Man, they didn't say there was a fight. They said you guys were working on a fight." Earlier in the show, you talked about, later this year you were going to probably be back out there in action. So, is this fight happening or not?
Mean, that's what I like. That's what I would like.
Where do talks currently stand? Are there any talks of getting it happening in the fall, or it just kind of has hit a standstill in communication?
I've let my management know what I want, and that's what I want. I'm saying it here live. That's what I want. And so, but, you can't force anybody to get in there and fight.
Right.
And, he's got whatever he's got going on. So, but I'm free at the end of the year. That's what I want to do. And so, but it takes two to tango. So
right. And speaking of two, do you see yourself beating both of the Charlo brothers? For people who don't know, there are two of them.
I just said I'm close to him now.
There's two.
Caleb?
I'm not. Jermall, he's a 154 pounder, and Jermall, he's a 160 pounder who's about to move up to 168 pounds. And so I'm interested in fighting super middleweights because that's the division I'm in.
This is.
You know what? I don't need to go out there. The super middleweight division is plenty hot. You know, there's no need for me
Right.
to go down and fight someone who's 2 divisions below me when I have, you know, tons of super middleweights that I could get it going with.
Yeah. So let me ask you this question, bro. Is you said this is the fight you want? You went to management and said, you know, pretty much make it happen. That's what it sounds like. Because of the situation that we just saw, the video and what everybody's been talking about, is this personal or is it business, right? Because like I heard you talk, man, you was like, man, like what am I supposed to do? And you know, I'm not gonna go back home and look myself in the mirror and, you know, after a dude then, you know, violated me that way. And there's Texas dudes, you said there's like, I don't care if there's 40, 50 Texas dudes back there. If they all had to see me, then that's what it's gonna be, excuse me.
You know, I'm not picking a fight with none of them dudes, but it's like I know Errol's there, I know Jermall and Jermall there, and then all their buddies are there. And so, you know, I don't know who's gonna take Jermall's side and who ain't. But you have to obviously tell yourself, well, hey, if I'm going to do this, worst case scenario is all 40 to 50 of these dudes jump on me. But, you know, sometimes you got to be willing to do that. You know, I'm not going to go home, like I said, and look myself in the mirror or look at my wife and be like, hey, I'm the protector of this family. I'm going to stand up for you, but I won't stand up for myself. And, you know, my wife would still believe that, but am I going to believe it? That's the real question.
Right.
So, you know, you go through life, you let people just do that to you, you're going to have problems in your life. If you stand up for yourself, that could create problems too. So at the end of the day, it's just what problems do you want? Do you want the problem of somebody fucking with you, or do you want the problems that come with standing up for yourself? And, you know, I know what I choose, so.
It's actually interesting that you mentioned your wife. I have a question regarding her in just a second, but when the situation first happened, one of the things that I said was, you know, had your wife not been there, maybe the situation goes differently, but your wife being there kind of gave you no other choice but to react and deal with the situation that you did.
Whether she was there or not, I would have handled my business the same way.
Okay.
But you're making it even harder on
Right.
me. She is standing there, is what I'm saying. But I would have handled my business the same way. If it was just me solo, if it was me and her, if it was me and my daddy, like, I'm gonna handle my business the same way. But if my wife's standing behind me, now it's even like,
Right.
okay, you know what I'm saying? So
absolutely, and that's the part that I brought up when we had that conversation.
You definitely did, bro. I never forget my freshman year in college. I went back to my high school's rivalry game. It was Lake Howell High School versus Oviedo. And so I come back and I'm feeling good and cocky, confident, and I'm the big man, right? And so I'm walking out, and it's with my buddy who's at the University of Florida, big defensive lineman, 6'2", 320 pounds. And there's about 5, 6 dudes just trying us, but we're outnumbered. And they just trying us. We finally get to the car, to the situation, and something just clicked in me. I'm like, this ain't sitting with me. And so I'm like, y'all, okay, y'all got it. Ashley, soon as one of them got in the car, I said, BAM! And now 6 dudes swarmed us. And we just tussling with these dudes. But I'm saying that because I understand what you're saying, bro. It's like, and that's a scary place to be when you're like, yo, I feel disrespected, I feel violated, but I'm outnumbered, and this can go all the way left. There has to be something kind of off, you know what I mean, for you to make that decision to say there's 40 to 50 dudes from Texas that could all jump on me, but I'm doing this. Like, when did you know you was that? Like, I guess that's the fighter. When did you know you were him? You know what I'm saying? Was it like in elementary school, middle school, where somebody tried you had to stand up for yourself?
I mean, you know, we all have a line that we don't let people cross when it comes to certain things, you know, and your line may be further up on some things. My line may be further back on some things and closer up on some things. And, you know, we set those lines as we go through life, you know, as people, you know, pick on us or mess with us in school, middle school, elementary school, you know, you start finding out where your line is. And as you grow up, that's where you set your line. And if somebody crosses it, you know, if somebody does this or takes it this far, you know, I'm willing to, you know, back myself up. And, you know, everybody's line is in a different place. And so the best way to not find it is to not be pressing somebody's line.
Ashley, what would you have done in that situation?
Like, if I had to, what do you mean? What do you mean? If I was Caleb?
Yes.
I mean, hopefully, if a girl did it to me, right?
Yes.
I'd probably. Oh, okay. I was about to say, if it was a guy, I'm not doing that. I'd fight. I have a line too.
You have a line too?
I'd have to. I would take that because it's like I feel him. Like you kind of give someone the benefit of the doubt when you say, "All right, chill."
Right.
And then somebody does the same action. Now they're calling your bluff. Now you have no choice but to do it. So.
Do you know like the switch that you have to be able to make the decision he made? And both, like, bro, I talked about Caleb, but Charlo, he's a monster too. So that's why I want to see this fight. This could be a makeup of a huge fight, a mega fight. The whole culture's coming out. You're a part of the culture. Fashion, boxing, sneaker, all of that.
Yeah.
I want to see it happen. Ash, I got one boxing question before we switch gears.
No. I have a question too that actually they want us to hit. So you want me to go first? I'm gonna go first. Listen, clearly you don't duck a challenge. We've established that. But Anthony Durrell was talking very spicy about you before your bout, and that backfired in the worst possible way imaginable. I think we actually have that video that we can run. But I mean. Just
run that one time.
Just go. There we go. Listen, we have this video. I mean, have you ever landed a cleaner left hook in your life? I mean, run that back one more time, BC, just so we can get the full. Jeez. I mean, my goodness.
It's the same left. It was the same left. It's something about his left. It was the same left.
I mean, just bam. Just absolutely, I mean.
Ooh. He was coming too now. He just landed the
first.
Listen,
and again, he was talking very spicy before this one. So, I mean, just talk us through that. Was that like one of the best left hooks of your life?
Yeah, that was one of the cleanest ones. You know, every time I kept throwing my hook, you know, Durrell kept punching with me. He kept hooking with me. Every time I would throw a hook, boom, he would hook right with me. And so I knew that I had to, you see the little pause at the bottom after the first one. Boom, it's because after I threw the first one, I knew that he was about to hook with me. So I just sat on it for a second and wait for him to open up. Boom, and I knew when he'd open up, I was going to shoot the second one. Oof. So it was just kind of like taking some time to see his, his habits. And I noticed in the fight, because he thought that I couldn't punch and that he was going to try to keep punching with me. And so that I just kept setting it, kept letting him doing the same thing until I seen the opening. And then, boom, I made sure that I paused on it so that when I shot it, he'd be open. But, yeah, that's just good timing, good setup, you know, just playing chess.
See, that's what I love about sports. That's what I love about boxing. Caleb, I tell Ashley this all the time, bro, and I would love to hear, you know, what you think is the best sporting event. But I tell her, I said, there's nothing better than watching boxing live. I love everything about it. I love my process before I even leave the hotel. I love walking in, like dressing, you know, and I love the old school too. I love like suits and stuff, right? But nowadays, people are more into sportswear. So like, you know, for him to go in there and say, man, now it's chess. It's so special. It's special. You know, what sporting event, before we move on, do you think is the best thing, the best sport to see in person?
Boxing, no doubt.
He's not going to say anything other.
But it's like,
well, I said boxing.
It's like when you really narrow down to like the essence of competitiveness and mano a mano, I mean, there's probably no older sport in the world, you know? And just how the boxing has developed into a chess game. And, you know, boxing is not like a tough guy sport. And you don't want to be considered, you know, you don't want to think yourself as, oh, I'm going to be tougher than him, or I'm tough, so I'm going to be able to do this. Because if you're a fighter, then we're all tough, you know, so that's going to automatically X that out. You know, boxing is a thinking man's game. And, you know, just being able to set traps over rounds and get them accustomed to one thing and be able to switch it up on them and, you know, capitalize off a mistake they're making or a move that they're making and be a step ahead. I mean, I think it's just, and, you know, no, obviously offense to football. I'm a huge football fan too, but, you know, just not being able to call a timeout, not being able to hand the ball off, or,
you sound like Richard Sherman.
You know, but just, it's just you and them in there, and there's no timeouts.
Right.
I love it.
Well, listen, you are not the only badass athlete in the Plant household. Your wife, Jordan, was a track star. I wonder, what is having an athlete wife like? I mean, how does that help you become a better athlete?
I think, anyone who knows about me and Jordan, they know how close we are, how good of friends we are.
That's
But I
beautiful.
think having an athlete as a wife, she just has an understanding of the discipline and the sacrifice that it takes. She had a full ride to a Division I college to run the 100-meter hurdles. And so that's no joke. And so for her to be able to compete at that level and to have competed at that level, she knows what, it takes, the amount of discipline. And so just her having that understanding and just her helping me stay on the things I need to stay on top of, whether it's, my vitamins or my water, my meals, she really helps it and makes it to where I just really have to focus on boxing. And, I take that serious because I mean, she trusts and believes in me. And so I don't want to put that to waste, so just, it gives me motivation knowing that, I got a friend and a wife who really believes in it and who really sacrifices with me and puts a lot into it. And it just makes me want to go, that much harder.
I absolutely love that. That's so beautiful. That's great to hear. And I before Brandon, you get your question, and I have one more for you. Now remember, before I ask this question, remember the saying, happy wife, happy life. Who is the best athlete in your household? Is it you or is it Jordan?
I mean, she's a better 100-meter hurdler.
Do y'all compete in anything else?
Oh man, we're super competitive. We've gotten into real live arguments before about like being an athlete or who's better at this, who's better at that. It's so funny to look back on and like think about that. But yeah, she's super competitive. I'm super competitive. But besides like that one argument that I just mentioned that was like so long ago, and we laugh about it now, like it's friendly competition, but we definitely compete with each other. And she works out 6 days a week. I mean, she's a grinder. She handles all our business stuff, whether when it comes to our rental properties, our investments, with our financial team. I mean, she's a great mom. She's a great wife. I mean, altogether, I'm blessed to be able to have somebody like that in my life. I don't take that for granted.
It seems like fun though. Like you would like race to like see who could like empty the dishwasher
right.
faster, or like who could fold laundry quicker, or like who could bring the groceries with more bags without making a second trip. That seems like fun to me. I don't know. That seems
I'll
like
trip her ass. I'll trip her ass.
Listen, you just gave speaking to athletes, man. I think you just gave them a major key. And I know Ashley asked you the question, but I feel like you can potentially teach other athletes, bro, the keys to success when it comes to dating and relationships, man, because there's so many of us, including myself, that struggle, we fail, or, we try to figure it out the next time. And so that alignment is critical, like athlete mindset. You're an athlete. She understands that. And I feel like a lot of us athletes struggle because the women that we may date don't understand the commitment and the sacrifice needed to just be good every single day. Because, like, if you're not that, like, there's no, like, I'm not trying to say athletes is better than other people, but, like, you can be in corporate America, and in corporate America, you don't have to be great every day. And there's so many ways to skate around, like, what you do. In sports, that shit is on television, on the tube, on film review every single day. Your ass get knocked out, right? Everybody's watching, everybody see it. There's no hiding in practice or in games. And so it's a level of commitment and sacrifice you have to make, bro. So you just gave a major key to a lot of athletes. Don't go out there and do life with somebody who's not aligned with the sacrifice.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, it takes a different level of selfishness that you have to be able to compete on that level. Mm-hmm. But as long as you're not, abusing that selfishness in other areas, it makes it a lot easier for your friend to be able to, be selfless when it comes time to grind, or comes time to have to go here and go there and, do this, do that, whatever it may be. Sometimes, if people abuse that selfishness, it could hinder you and make it harder for you to be selfish in other areas and your partner be okay with it. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be thinking from both sides, and you got to be thinking about the long term goal and what you really want. And if it's about the sport, if it's about being great at your sport, and that's what you're, preaching about, then you got to stick to it with that. You got to be selfish with that, but you got to know when to turn that on and off too.
As a woman, that's all facts.
How are we doing on time, bro? Because I don't know
all
if,
facts.
If our team said, how are we doing?
Good.
Okay,
Yeah.
Can you go a little deeper here? When you talk about, selfishness to being selfish, right? Like, really speak to, the men out there, even the women, couples out there, because it seems like y'all, I don't think y'all are perfect, but it seems like y'all have a nice recipe. And there's a lot of people struggling, in marriages and then certain relationships, or they try love and they failed at love. So what does that look like? Because sometimes men, we're too selfish.
Yeah, I mean, I think men and women can be selfish, especially today's era. But I think, Jordan's the type of girl who she's cool to be friends with, and not every girl's like that. Every girl wants to be liked, but not every girl is likable. And so it's like, not just when it comes to our business and, doing things we got to get done, but just kicking it, hanging out, chilling, laughing, joking, like cutting up, whatever it may be. Like Jordan's into like a lot of the same shit I am, whether it be clothes, sneakers, fashion, sports. And, Jordan knows how to just sit around and kick it and just chill and be cool. And so it makes it easy to want to hang out with her, but not every girl may be like that, so it can make it harder. But for Jordan, it lines up with the things I like, so it makes it easy. And because we're best friends, I'm not gonna, there may be certain things that you do to your girl that you wouldn't do to your best friend, but it's kind of one and the same for me. So it makes it easy for me. I got a lot of respect for Jordan because of how hard she works, how she carries herself. She's classy. She gets a lot done. She's a great mother. So, it makes it easy to respect someone like that. She's literally the hardest worker I've ever come across as far as like consistently. And so, it's easy to respect somebody like that.
That was a bar.
Yeah,
a lot of girls want to be liked, but a lot of girls aren't likable. Can we get that on a graphic? That was a bar.
I said, go deeper.
When he said that, I said, "Oh, that's a bar."
Caleb got some stuff about him, man.
Wow, that was a bar. I'm definitely gonna be using that for just obviously with men, but I'm gonna use that line.
Right.
I want to switch gears because you did mention fashion.
That's right.
And how Caleb has kind of broken down walls and barriers in the boxing space when it comes to his fashion, for sure. And you've worn some really dope kicks in the boxing ring. I mean, I have some of them here. Most notably, your the Dunks and Freddy Krueger's. Come on.
Fire.
Look, fire.
I have those back there, I think.
You have these?
Yeah, but not the boxing ones, but the
I want to kind of dive into your sneakerhead love, and also, I believe the shoe surgeon does some of your shoes. Is that correct? Like, just kind of talk about that relationship. What goes into the design, the decision making on what shoes you wear for what match, and these are incredible.
Come on, man, bring up the Freddies. Yeah, there we go.
Ooh.
Dom, my guy, the surgeon, he's been helping me put together some great ideas, and, really my love for sneakers just probably comes from, not having those things when I was a kid, not having nice shoes, not having nice clothes, not having much nice of anything, and just, wanting those things, wanting to work hard so I could get those things. And then just trying to bring those things into the boxing world, and just tie the two together. And, me fighting October 15th against Anthony Durrell, I knew it was close to Halloween. So I thought, what better shoe to bring out than, the greatest horror shoe of all time, one of the rarest shoes of all time. And so, I told him I want to do the Freddies. And he sent over a couple of examples, and I just kept making revisions until I had it, just how I wanted.
Fire.
And boom, I felt like it came out. They turned out great. And, ever since then, I've really been seeing, quite a few fighters, turn their boxing shoes to.
Were you the first? Are you saying you're the first?
Say what?
Are you saying you're the first because Tank, Devin Haney, there's a bunch. I heard where you were going with that. Were you the first to create this in the ring?
I will say that me and I had already made these shoes, but then I think Devin came out with the cactus plant, the one with all that look like they got the diamonds all over it or whatever.
Right.
But he fought before me, but I was already in the process of getting that shoe made.
Right.
But I'm definitely up there. I'm one of them, and I felt like it was my idea first, but Devin he came first, so he can. But then with the What the Dunks, just trying to match that energy and that I had with the Freddies and do something just as crazy. And obviously Don put something together crazy. But yeah, I'm definitely one of the first ones for sure.
Top 5 dress fighters, man, because there's some nice ones now. Top 5 best dressed.
And you can include yourself in the list. We never make that rule, but you can go ahead and include yourself, obviously.
Yeah, and if you're really him, you'll do it in order too, because we sit down with football players, basketball players, and they like, well, I ain't gonna put it in order. Like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's hard to put in order, but
oh Lord, see what I'm saying?
I feel like I'm definitely probably on the list, and Gervonta, I'd probably put him on there.
Charlo brothers. Don't be biased because
why
of the
do you keep doing that?
Don't be biased because of the current climate.
You are so messy.
Caleb, no, they be dressing now.
Oh my God.
They wear a little bit more extravagant things than me, and to me, sometimes that can be hit or miss. I'm not speaking specifically about them, but sometimes
that's fair.
Pressing it, it can be hit or miss. But yeah, those are stylish dudes. Tank's a stylish dude. Devin's a stylish dude.
Okay.
Caleb, before we let you go, obviously we've spoken about a lot of your previous fights,
But 1 second. Oh, none of them guys have their own clothing line,
Ooh.
They don't have their own, like I have with my revenge store, where I've gotten away from creating, boxing merchandise for boxing fans, and I have my own lifestyle brand called Revenge Store. And if you've been following me, if you've been staying up to date, you can see that I've been dropping some real fire lifestyle clothes.
What's the website?
It's on my website, but I only do 1 week pre-orders, and then I put them in, I ship them out, and then I do not re-release a shirt. Either you're on it or you're not. So it's either you're up to date with it or you're not. And but I've had Conway the Machine in my clothes, Nigel Sylvester in my clothes. Who else? The Game.
I love Nigel.
The Game in them. And my first shirt it's called Revenge Tour, and it had Revenge Tour on the back with the tour dates, and it was a date of each one of my fights and where they was at. And, I'm not gonna lie, ever since then I've been seeing quite a few tour shirts.
Right. He's the
I
first
seen Errol Spence Smoking on Bud tour, but Errol's my guy. I seen Shakur Stevenson with the tour shirt. I seen my boy Scooter with the tour shirt. And I'm not, I don't want to be a gatekeeper, So if I bring something, if I'm pressing ideas forward, I want to see other people pick it up and push the boxing culture forward too. That's what I think it's all about. So, but I feel like I've been given some inspiration.
The website is dope. I'm on it now.
It's on the Caleb Plant website.
CalebPlant.com. You hit the 2 marks at the top right, and you'll see the store there. It's dope, bro. We got season 5 starting here in the next month or so. Our big show. This is the biggest show, but we got the big show. Man, I need it. You know what? I'm not gonna ask for nothing. I'm gonna buy it.
Listen, the store, guys, is in the chat right now, so the link is there. JP just dropped it in the chat, so if you guys want to go ahead and pre-order some stuff, it is in the chat right now, there.
But my next drop is gonna be September 30th, which is the day of the Canelo fight. But they also have the Low Rider Super Show with all them, all the old school low riders, and I'm gonna have my next collection won't be online. It'll be in person at that show. So you got to show up to get it. Otherwise, you're going to have to miss out on that.
Can you? I'll be in Vegas. Obviously, I'm going to that fight. You have Canelo and Charlo, and so I'll be there. Can you put aside a couple 2X's for me, and I'll give you my credit card, bro? I know Jordan's gonna be like, "Nah, this is money. This is business. Don't nobody get nothing for free." Put two X's to the side for me, all right? And Ashley's gonna be there. It's gonna be her first fight. She's never been to a fight.
I've never been. I'm a fight virgin.
You know
is that
what?
a thing?
You know what we need to do? You know what we do? Let's get a nice dinner together. Like Caleb and Jordan and his whole team is super cool.
Okay.
Let's do a big dinner. Let's get like a nice little group of people. Would you do that, or you just keep it tight?
I mean, I'll be open to that.
Okay. All right, we're gonna hit up.
As long as we don't talk about certain things anymore. We're just gonna let that here. Listen.
I'm harmless.
Before
why would I do that? He
stop.
gonna slap me. I ain't trying to get.
Now that would be funny. But listen, before we let you go, obviously we've been talking about a lot of fights, but I mean, is there anybody on your dream list, a dream matchup for you, or multiple dream matchups of guys you haven't fought or that you would like to fight again? What are some of those names?
I mean, in a perfect world for me right now, if we can't get Charlo right away, we go to a tune-up fight, let him get a tune-up fight since he's had a little break. Me and him fight next year, beat him, and then after I whoop him, get a rematch with Canelo, become undisputed, and then run it back with David.
Oh, that's that revenge tour.
That's that revenge tour.
Yo,
See that? That's the plan.
I know we have to let you go. You've been more than gracious with your time, bro. But I have to ask really quick on two big situations right now. You got Canelo Alvarez and Jermall Charlo fighting in Vegas. You just talked about that. That's when you're going to drop your next. You'll have your next drop for the revenge tour. How do you see this going?
I mean, Jermall. And just so I can clear the air, like, I don't have no issue with Jermall. Honestly, Jermall, he's always been super cool to me, super respectful. He always daps it up, tells me he loves what I got going with, whether it's with my wife, my clothes, my boxing. So it's like, I think Jermall's a cool dude. He's never been no type of way towards me. But, I think Jermall's a great fighter. I think he's a younger fighter. He could be the more lively fighter. And he's hungry. He's got something to prove. Obviously, he's got a chip on his shoulder. It's hard to bet against Canelo's experience and his size and his punching power. So, I think both guys have some things going for them. And it's really just about who gets in there and is able to implement their game plan. That's what it's about. It doesn't matter who is necessarily can edge out and be the better fighter. It's about who can go in there and implement their game plan over 12 rounds. And we're going to find out on the 30th. So.
I'm going to put $25K on Charlo. Seriously, like what bro said, like, and it's right, and that's not. Some would say that's not a smart bet, right? But younger, more active, hungry. I like this. And the last one, we're gonna let you go here after this, bro. The beef between, will we ever see Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson get in the ring? Like, it's starting to get spicy. They're on Twitter this week or last week, and it's starting to get real personal.
I mean. That's a question for them. We'd love to see it. I love to see it. I'm cool with Devin. I'm real cool with Shakur as well. I'm not picking sides in that fight, as far as but I think they're both great fighters. I think Shakur is a hell of a fighter. I think Devin's a hell of a fighter. So, I'd love to see them, two young guns get in there and duke it out.
Oof. All right. That was dope.
Thank you so much, Caleb. Tell Jordan we said hi. And we hope to see you soon, right?
Yeah, we're gonna go to dinner.
Oh, right, my first fight, exactly, yeah. September 30th. I'm very excited.
Yeah, we got to show Ashley a great time.
Should I bring a fur? Jackson. Do people wear furs to fights?
In the wintertime, yes, absolutely.
Okay,
but
sure.
Not September. No, not September.
In Vegas is it ain't that cold.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah.
I was trying to go all American gangster, but I'll save that for another time.
Bro, we appreciate you, man. We'll see you in Vegas, bro.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'm going to see y'all then.
Bye.
All right. Peace. Man.
You are.
I'm messy.
You're messy. The M in Brandon Marshall doesn't stand for Marshall. It stands for messy. Brandon Messy Marshall.
That's what the people want to know. I hit
it. We didn't have to keep circling back to it. I talks about it in depth. We got it.
Yo, he's a cool dude.
Very
I love
cool.
his demeanor. I love his tone. It's not tough for me, but I am friendly and really close to the Charlo brothers. But right is right, wrong is wrong, and I haven't talked to Maul about this. It's just like Maul just didn't expect that. You know what I'm saying? But which is off, because if you touch another person, you gotta expect anything. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens over the next couple of months. I do believe I think Maul needs a tune-up fight. I don't think he just jumps into this one. He's been inactive for almost 2 years, and so I would like to see a tune-up fight, and I would like to see him fight next year. And I'm telling you, the culture is going to come out for that one.
Well, listen, we're going to dive into some more football talk. But first and foremost, I want to shout out the team for really helping prep those Caleb Plant questions. And, JP, you guys all did a great job with lining up those videos so that Caleb had something to reflect on. I know he really enjoyed rewatching that left hook over and over again. So thank you guys so much for that. The whole team here at Paper Route, BC, Andrew, Jazz, all you guys.